folks. Friday, 1/10/2025, the MCU's Bleeding Edge YouTube channel and podcast. Live reviewing the theatrical cut of Justice League. I'm Jeff S., a.k.a. TrueKnowledge. I get to moderate, luckily, with this wonderful movie tonight. Co-host Cyberneticshark is here. Andre's the Pop Culture Guy is here. Alan from the Black Lane Collective Comedy Podcast is here. Welcome, gentlemen. I've got quite a few gripes on the theatrical cut, but I think the first thing I want to ask before I actually start talking about the movie is raise your hand if you saw the Snyder Cut version of the film and the theatrical cut too.
Yeah.
Andres, you still never saw Snyder Cut?
No, not yet. I probably will after this movie. Because I heard good things.
That's fine. You're just going to be left. You'll just be kind of left out because there's going to be times during the review where we're going to talk about the differences between the two films. There's no way around it,
Yeah.
Well, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I just want to say I'm aware of the changes. Like I've seen videos and people reviewing the movie, so of the Snyder Cut. So
I can't believe you've watched some of those long ass Snyder Cut reviews on YouTube, but you've never watched the Snyder Cut.
Well, as a DC fan, I just couldn't took it. I was done with the DCU completely. But yeah. So just yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good to know, Andres. Thank you for explaining all that wonderful information. So Justice League 2017 American superhero film based on the DC comic superhero team of the same name, produced by Warner Brothers Pictures, DC Films. It is the fifth installment in the DC Extended Universe, the DC EU, directed by Zack Snyder, who was replaced by Joss Whedon after Snyder left the project, I believe his daughter committed suicide. If I remember correctly. Yeah. So, ensemble cast, including Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, Ezra Miller, Jason Momoa, Ray Fisher, Amy Adams, Jeremy Irons, Diane Lane, Connie Nielsen, and J.K. Simmons. The film followed the events of Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. Essentially, the movie came out November 13th, 2017. It grossed $661.3 million worldwide, so it lost money essentially, since they were looking at a $750 million break-even point with the film, which is insane to think they spent $750 million on that fucking movie. Holy fuck. Where did that go? Jesus Christ.
The reshoots, unfortunately.
Yeah, I guess so, huh? Jesus Christ, that's a lot of money. That's a massive fucking budget, man. Holy shit. What do you guys think about that? Does anybody have any thoughts on? Al, do you have any thoughts on that? That's $750 million. It says on the Wikipedia that they needed to make in the box office to make their money back on the film, right? So they lost money on it. That's a lot of fucking money, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a massive budget. Like I know they had to pay all those actors, you know what I'm saying? But still.
I didn't realize they had spent that much on it. Honestly, I thought
that's fucking crazy. Andre's the Pop Culture Guy. See if you can find me go on Google and find me a breakdown of why the budget was that much on the movie.
Sure. I mean, also, we're gonna bring it later, but like, of course, the Cavill mustache thing, that was another big reason.
I don't think that was like a massive, expenditure when it boils down to it. Cyber, what do you think? Did you know it was $750 million?
Yep. I remember them talking about it when it was coming out, being that expensive. Because
that's fucking crazy.
Because, it's not only just the actors, but yeah, a lot of it was the CGI money that they had to pay to one. Part of it was Cavill's mustache that he had to keep for Mission Impossible 7 or 6, I should say. 2, because they had to do reshoots with a lot of CGI, that cost a lot of money. Plus, also because of Zack Snyder leaving and then Whedon come in, Whedon cost even more to bring on to take over the director's chair for Snyder. So you had all this.
How much did they? How much do you think they paid Whedon? Fucking what? I mean, what was he coming off of? Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I guess
So,
he
but-
was kind of
but
he kind of saved, he saved the film though. I guess, right, in a way. You know what I mean? So like, I guess he could demand whatever he wanted.
I don't think he saved anything.
No, but I guess the budget was a lot lower until all this stuff started happening.
Mm-hmm.
$750 million is a lot of money. I mean, I get it that they had to do a lot of reshoots and all that because of like bringing in the second director. I get the CGI stuff's expensive, but still, and I know you have to pay to promote the film and all that too, and I get all that, but that's a lot of money. Anyways, the film was not nominated for any any Oscar awards, unfortunately. No Golden Globes, no Screen Actors Guild Award nominations or anything like that.
They were robbed.
So I guess I'll get it out of the way first before we get into the actual breakdown of the film. What is everybody's overall take on the film? What are like the major strengths of the film, and what are the major weaknesses of the film? I guess you could say, or whatever. I'll start with you, Cyber.
I'm sorry. What was the question again? I was reading something. Sorry, I didn't mean to not pay attention.
What's your take on the film overall? What are the strengths and weaknesses of the film?
Oh, I mean, honestly, when I first watched it the first time, it has what it has. It definitely, you could tell that it suffered from the two different directors and their writing skills and their thought process on how they put this movie together. It highly, did not go towards the same direction Snyder was trying to go for. It went more towards like more of a Marvel, type of tradition, which is what Whedon brought to it. So, it suffered definitely from too many stories trying to be in one film, that didn't stay with the cohesive story that Snyder had originally played out. But other than that, I enjoyed the film. I didn't think it was horrible. I think it's not as good as the Snyder cut, but most definitely I think that it has some, positivities that were okay for its theatrical release. Still had a great all-star cast. But overall, I think that, the film itself definitely suffered from a lot of things, from the reshoots, the rewrites, and all that kind of stuff did not help it. Plus, also the whole thing where Cavill had to keep the mustache for being on Mission Impossible, really was one of the stupidest things I've ever heard of. I don't get why he couldn't have grown the mustache back for Mission Impossible, but, or they could have put a fake one on, which is not that hard, a little spearmint gum, that, it could have made it nowhere as expensive as it really needed to be to CGI out his, mustache, especially with how bad the blurring out of it looks. It did not look natural. It looks really stupid. It does not help the film at all. So, I mean, there's definitely things that could have made it so much better, but at the same time, it is what it is. So, overall, I think that it's an okay film with quite a few flaws.
I didn't pay attention really hardcore at the upper lip when he was talking like in his scenes, so I didn't notice it that much. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I think it's bearable. What do you think, Alan?
No, I disagree with you, man. The mustache was horrible, and it was at the beginning of the movie.
I just didn't notice it really.
No, halfway through the movie, it was just a few scenes. It wasn't the whole movie. It was just a few scenes that they had done that. And I mean, I was disappointed in I think the best part about it was what's it called? when they show you the preview of the movie, I guess it is, when you watch like this is what's going to happen, they call it trailer. I thought the trailer was awesome. I mean, the trailer was like, hey, this movie's going to kick ass. And, overall, I thought, I mean, we hadn't even talked about the movie yet, and I'm already shitting on it. But
well, I mean, that was. I mean, I think that's kind of what was expected because I mean, it obviously is not well viewed among
no,
people.
I mean, I expected a lot more. After Batman versus Superman, you were like, this is going to be good because they really actually did the storyline of them two and shit was going to happen and really thought it was going to be good. And I mean, I don't know if they added too many things on it. A few of the superheroes I just don't like. I don't like Flash. I don't like DC characters. That's me. But I don't know.
Al, you may have like a loose wire. I think maybe because your audio is just in and out just a little bit. I'm just letting you know. I think you might have like a loose wire.
I'll check it.
Okay. Andre's a pop culture guy, sir. What do you think? What are the strengths and weaknesses of Justice League?
Well, I let's start with the positives. I think I agree with Saber. This is not the worst superhero film at all. Like there's excuse me, there's other worse superhero films, and this is it's a mid-tier, like it's a very average superhero film, team up, that delivers the good entertainment. Like I mean, at least the movie, I'm at least entertained. I think the interrelationship with the characters are the best thing. Like I really like the Batman Wonder Woman relationship they have in this movie. I think that's the best part. I really like because I think Gal and Ben have really good chemistry, and I think that's the part I really like. And I also really like the other relationship. I kind of wish we had more of it. The Cyborg and Wonder Woman relationship. I thought that was kind of very interesting. That's something we never saw in the comic books, and so I thought the relationship with our heroes when they interact was really good. I thought that wasn't like the worst thing. It was really the best thing about the film. And
I don't agree with you. I thought the writing, the inner writing between the Justice League characters, I thought was terrible.
Oh yeah. Well, here's
I'm not trying to stomp on your opinion. I'm just saying, I felt like when they talked to each other, it was like some of the weakest. It was like the material was not good.
No, I agree with you. Yeah, I'll get to that in my negatives. There's a couple that I agree with certain characters. Yeah, and then what else? I mean, it's very short. Like that's the good thing. It's not as long as certain superhero films, so it's like a very breezy, 2-hour movie we can watch. So
it's exactly 2 hours. Yep.
Yeah, so it's fine. So it doesn't outstay its welcome. Now, negatives, as Jeff you brought up, I agree. There's a lot of really bad interaction with certain characters. Like for me, it's the Barry Allen, the Flash. I don't really like this version of the Flash, unfortunately. I mean, first off, ACER Nitro, he's a problematic actor, but he was a really good actor. When I see him in projects, when he's good, he's good. I just don't think he's a really great Flash. He's really bad. And I thought his interaction with Batman was really bad. I thought that just didn't work. I don't like how Josh Whedon writes Batman too. I don't like he makes Batman to be like another typical Josh Whedon character, and that was really bad. I never liked that line in the film when he say, "Oh, something something is bleeding." I'm like, no, don't say that. It's just like this Batman can walk off the paint. There was just a lot of bad dialogue here and there. And, yeah. special effects. I mean, the special effects are good; they're consistent, but it's very glossy. Like it's very cartoon. It's like a very video game kind of movie, and it kind of distracts you sometimes. Like I don't like the design of Steppenwolf. I think the design that we saw in the Snyder Cut looks way better. I don't know what they did to him in this version. I think it's the worst character design. That's another thing that's really bad with this movie, Steppenwolf. He's really the worst villain. In this DCAU, you know, minus the Snyder Cut. I don't know how Steppenwolf is the Snyder Cut, but I think it's like what I heard that Steppenwolf is way better in the Snyder Cut compared to this version. Like the Wii version, it's really bad, and I think
major change, major difference.
Exactly. So, and you know that's not the fault of Zack Snyder. It's the fault of Warner Brothers. You know, changing this character into this like really bad version. And that's the thing about this movie that we haven't mentioned up. It's a very Frankenstein like movie where like you could tell this is Snyder's like vision, and then there's some that you see like Whedon's vision, and it just doesn't match. So overall, it's an okay superhero team up. It's not the best, but it is not the worst.
No, I mean, there's only so many superhero team up movies out there to begin with. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's only so many to compare. But yeah, the Steppenwolf version in the Snyder Cut is far superior version of Steppenwolf.
Oh yeah.
And of course they removed all the dark side stuff from the film, and they made Steppenwolf the main villain, right, of the entire film, which is a big difference than the Snyder Cut, okay, so as far as the film itself goes, the way the plot on Wikipedia reads is Steppenwolf and his legions of parademons attempt to take over the Earth using the combined energies of the three mother boxes. The attempt is foiled by a united alliance, including the Olympian gods, Amazons, Atlanteans, humanity, and extraterrestrial beings. The mother boxes are separated and hidden in different locations. Thousands of years later, humanity is still in mourning 2 years after the death of Superman, which triggered the mother box's reactivation and Steppenwolf's return to Earth. Steppenwolf aims to gather the boxes to form the Unity, which will destroy Earth's ecology and terraform it in the image of Steppenwolf's homeworld. Steppenwolf retrieves one mother box from Themyscira, prompting Queen Hippolyta to warn her daughter Diana. Diana joins Bruce Wayne. A lot of shit happens in the movie before that gets to this point. So it's kind of crazy how it jumps this far into the film. But joins Bruce Wayne in an attempt to unite other metahumans to their cause. Wayne goes after Arthur Curry and Barry Allen, while Diana locates Victor Stone. And obviously there's there's a whole scene there where we see Wonder Woman take out those bank robbers and all that. We do see some basic background on Victor Stone, Cyborg with his dad, all that, we get some of that. But basically, while Diana locates Victor Stone, Wayne fails to persuade Curry but finds Allen enthusiastic. Stone joins after his father, Silas, and other Star Lab employees are kidnapped by Steppenwolf, who is seeking the mother box protected by humanity. So I'll stop there. That's a really big chunk. So I'm sorry I threw that much at you guys. But I'll let you start off, Alan. What are your thoughts on the film all the way up to the point where, you get like the Steppenwolf attack on Star Labs?
Actually, though, the way you explained it on the non-Schneider cut, that's how it went. It was like bits and pieces. They showed what Wonder Woman did, and then they showed a little bit of Arthur Curry, and then they showed a little bit of this person. So it was like all this happens, and then suddenly he's looking for the mother box, and then he goes into Star Labs? to check.
Yes, it's Star
Yeah,
Labs.
it's Star Labs. Yeah, he goes in and they're looking for the mother box, but they really don't explain what the mother box is until after that. But going back to the Snyder Cut, but in the Snyder Cut, they kind of explained before what the mother box was. So
yeah, they were really fucking vague in
yes,
the film. The way that they explained the mother boxes was not well done.
yeah, the way they explain. By the time they got to Star Labs in the Snyder Cut, you understand the urgency of Steppenwolf trying to get the mother boxes and the damage he had done. In the theatrical version, it was more like bing, bang, bing. I want the mother box. I kicked your ass, Amazonians. I kicked your ass, Atlanteans. I kicked your ass, whatever, and so by the time he got to the thing, basically the way you explained it is, I think it's, there was the Wonder Woman part was cool because it explained what she was doing between, and then they showed the picture, the picture from her movie that Bruce Wayne had sent her. Was that in Justice League? But no, it wasn't in Justice League.
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay.
No, they just started her off with that opening scene where they show her like foiling that bank robbery.
Bank robbery, yeah, it was the bank robbery and oh yeah, because she was on the plane when she was not on the plane when she saw the news of the Greek thing, whatever, with the fire. That's how she realized that stepping somebody. They really don't explain it to the point that
because she understands what the mother boxes are. She's one of the few people that does understand what they are. You know what I'm saying?
Bruce Wayne was more like, something bad. Someone is coming, but that was because based on at the end of Man of Steel or Batman versus Superman, when I don't know if they had the deleted scene when Lex Luthor tells tells Batman, "Hey, they're coming. I put a signal out there. Everybody knows the Man of Steel is dead. They're coming." So he already knew somebody was coming.
Didn't he have like premonitions too?
Or
was that the Snyder Cut?
Well, he had premonitions, but
did he have like dreams of like a post-apocalyptic world?
They didn't in the Snyder Cut. It explains more. See, I like the Flash in the Snyder Cut. I didn't like the Flash in the theatrical because in Batman versus Superman, he comes back in time and tells him, Lois Lane's the key. So it went back to a lot of Justice League had to do with Batman versus Superman. And I guess when Snyder left and they brought the other dude in, a lot of that vision and stuff, which wasn't his fault, unfortunately his daughter died. And, so that's what had to happen. But he did. Yeah. He was anxious the whole time. Batman is just anxious, he's like, Superman is the one that should have been, I'm the one that should have been dead, not Superman. He had that chip on his shoulder type of deal. So, yeah, by the time they got to Star Labs, I guess that's when Cyber decides to get involved, I guess, because they kidnap his dad.
Yeah, that's the cutoff point. That's basically where we're going to stop. Is right when you have like the first clash or whatever,
Yeah.
with the heroes.
Maybe Andre and Cyberneticshark could articulate better than I am when it comes to that, getting up to that point. It was just there was so much things happening that there was not one thing specifically that you can be like, well, I like this part because this part led me to this. It didn't really have that specific part that led me to where we're stopping now.
I will say that it's definitely very weird to watch a film that's been done in two different versions. I've never done that before. I've never seen that before with another film, you know, where there's another version of it or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
And
there
it's a
is a Snyder
completely
cut.
different version. I mean, when you really
So-
look at the versions, they're completely
So
different.
it does create like a weird situation where when you watch the theatrical cut, if you've seen Snyder cut, it's really hard to not like, you know, reflect back and forth between the two films almost. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because you can really see the differences. You know, because I hadn't seen the theatrical cut until tonight. It was my first time watching it. I saw the Snyder cut first. Cyber, what are your thoughts, sir, on that section I'm talking about, all the way up to where we get to the Star Labs, attack?
So, like has been mentioned, this film suffers from stuff being cut out to make it shorter, to make it move faster. And that's kind of what Whedon did when he came in. He kind of shortened things and went in his direction, like everyone has mentioned. So a lot of this beginning sequences really have lacked because they didn't get to show all the footage that was originally filmed for these sequences. So there's quite a bit more in each of these sequences that explain things better so that people would understand the film better, and that's kind of what the Schneider cut did. Now, if you have a, if you go on to see the Schneider cut versus the theatrical cut, I mean, that is pretty similar to like if you were to go see a theatrical film and then when it gets released on Blu-ray or DVD or 4K and it has an unrated version or an R-rated version or something like that. It's basically the same movie just with added stuff that they took out when it got edited or that didn't get put in because they decided not to use it. And that's kind of what would happen with the Schneider cut. Now, with the Schneider cut too, as well, I mean, there was additional filming that Schneider did direct for it that year to add to the film to make it more a complete film. So all this stuff you're seeing in the theatrical cut, all of it has been shaved down to make it flow faster and get to a certain point. Plus, also, they took out, as Jeff had mentioned, they took out everything that led to Darkseid. So Darkseid was not in the film at all in this theatrical cut versus him being in the Schneider cut. So anything that was related to him had to be shaved out or cut so that they could make it where Steppenwolf was the main villain. So this whole beginning section, really, you could see where everything is pretty much cut out and is, de-sized to make it more flow faster to get to a certain vantage point in the film, which is, getting to the Star Lab sequence is kind of that big first kind of big hit of the film, because that's when they go against Steppenwolf. And then Steppenwolf, I noticed some people have mentioned that, how much his look differentiates from this film to the Schneider cut version. See, the Schneider cut version originally Zack Snyder's original design was what we saw in the Schneider cut. They actually ended up Disneyfying the character when Whedon came on. That was one of the things he took liberties with changing and making him look more like a Marvel villain. So, that's one of the reasons why Steppenwolf looks kind of stupid in the theatrical cut versus how he looks in the Schneider cut, which he looks far superior, far better in the Schneider cut versus how he looks in theatrical cut. Because in the theatrical cut, he just kind of looks like almost like a really stretched out version of a mixture of Dobby and Gollum from Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter is pretty much what this motherfucker looks like. And I was like, going to myself, I'm like, what the hell did they do to him? He looks stupid. I'm like, he does not look threatening to me at all. He looks like a bendable toy. Like I was expecting to be able to bend him and, tort him to my liking because he just looked like that. It was kind of, sad. And I was really, disappointed with that until finally got to see Zack Snyder's true vision in Snyder cut. So, this beginning section, like I said, it has a lot of it cut out that we got finally in the Schneider cut that made it make so much more sense. So unfortunately, it goes in and out throughout this whole section. We get some good moments. Like I love when Aquaman puts Batman up on the wall when he's talking to him. Love that. I think that definitely the fight sequence at Thermasium with the Amazonians in this is far superior to how the fight sequences were in Wonder Woman that came out the same year. I think that they looked more natural. They looked more battle defying than they did in that film. So I did appreciate that in the film. And I did think that, the whole like taking out most of Cyborg's story too really hurt the film as well in this theatrical version, because the few parts we get him in, a lot of the mother box stuff is related to him. And that's hence why a lot of people, as they watch the theatrical, are like, why aren't they explaining more about the mother boxes? Because it relates too much to Cyborg. So unfortunately, they had to cut that all out too. So this beginning section, it's enjoyable, it's palatable, but at the same time, it hurts itself because of how much they took out to get it ready to be released in 2017 versus allowing it to be delayed another year, which I think that would have probably been the more wiser choice after Schneider got done dealing with the death of his daughter. But this is what we ended up getting. So, interesting section of the film, gives you quite a bit of information that doesn't really give you quite a bit of information, and kind of just looks like a lackluster mixture of just confusion, unfortunately, that has maybe some good action to it and some interesting, funny one-liners.
Yeah, there's a lot of vagueness going on there. A lot of vagueness, whether they took out or that they did or that they didn't do in the Snyder cut. Especially with Cyborg, they really give him no origin at all. Really, in the film, the way that they present him, they don't really. And you're right, Cyber. He really is the big connector to one of the big connections to the mother boxes, because he understands them and knows what they are. In the Snyder cut, he completely understands what they are. From jump, he knows what they are. What they're capable of, all that. I felt like I really didn't like the way Steppenwolf's voice sounded in the movie either. Same thing with Batman. I didn't like the way that that Ben Affleck's Batman sounded in the theatrical cut, but I liked him in Snyder cut. It was different, I thought. What do you think, Andres? What are your thoughts on that section of the film?
Yeah. You brought up Ben Affleck, and I mean, in this, clearly, I don't want to get into his personal life or whatever, but it was really rough for him, and you could tell by the reshoots of this cut that he just did not care. He just putting a very lackluster performance. He's so there's scenes where you see him zoned out in this film, where the Snyder cut, he was before the whole Warner Brothers interfered the vision of Zack Snyder's version of this cut. Everything was fine. He was committed to Batman, his performance, because of Zack. So that's what we get here. It's this very very snoozy kind of performance. And yeah, the writing Whedon does for Batman is really awful. It's probably the worst writing of Batman since Batman and Robin. I would watch Batman and Robin over this movie. No offense, because I'll take the ice puns over whatever Joss Whedon did to Batman here. Yeah, the beginning, wait, how do I say this? The beginning, you kind of get the plot, but you guys nailed it. It's we're just going through the emotions. We're going through quickly on the villain plans. Okay, Steppenwolf was from whatever. We don't even mention the apocalypse. The world where Darkseid comes from. The fourth world, and from the DC universe. We don't get a mention of that. Where as I heard, the Snyder cut does address all that. Makes Darkseid as the main villain. Has a presence in the film. Where here is
and through Darkseid and through the flashback scenes they have, the extended flashback battle scenes they have with all the different factions, the Atlanteans, all the Amazonians fighting against Darkseid, and Step, in the movie in
Mhm.
Snyder Cut, that explains the mother boxes during that too. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
They didn't have that. They didn't have that. They had that scene in the theatrical cut, that flashback, but it was Steppenwolf in it, not Darkseid.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, exactly. So, they replaced, where Darkseid was there compared to this version where they replace it with Steppenwolf. My question is that flashback the beginning of the film, or because in this cut they put it in the middle of the film after Batman talks to Aquaman, and then like that Wonder Woman comes to like talk to her about the whole mother box.
It's not the beginning of the film. No, it
Okay.
comes up during the film.
Okay. Because like the movies, I mean, if you didn't see the open edition, you didn't understand what was going on with these mother buckets because as was it Alan brought up before, like in the the full version of Batman vs Superman, Lex calls Darkseid and like learning that Superman is dead. That's the reason they come now to attack Earth, and start the the apocalypse initiative, to turn this the world into apocalypse in the fourth world. And so you don't get that, and instead you get this very convenient thing for Batman to find that the mother box is the thing that these creatures are finding in the opening. So that was really bad. I do agree with Cyber. I like the interaction with Aquaman. Like I like Jason Momoa. He's a really good Aquaman. I did like how he throws Batman through the wall there, but it was very funny. He's like clearly like letting everyone know that Bruce Wayne is Batman. That was just like, come on. Like you want to keep your brother's secret identity like secret, right? It's like you're just shouting the name Batman, and it's like, what? It was just really bizarre. I did like, I think the bank, or was it the bomb heist thing for Wonder Woman, was really good. I thought that was a good action piece. It's definitely better than the Wonder Woman action scenes from her movie, but I don't know. It doesn't serve a purpose to the film. I think you could easily cut that out, but I mean, we need action, right? But overall, the first act is okay. Like it doesn't do like the Avengers or the Guardians films, their first films, where you took your time to get to know your superhero characters, because with this movie, we didn't have a lot of the solo films for these characters. It's only Batman or Superman we kind of got like individual films. I know Batman didn't get his solo film, but like we got Batman v Superman. So it was really tough for them to really spend time to get to know these characters, and they just rushed through everything. Like Flash is like, okay, his father's in prison. Is like this is his character, and then like as you say before, Jeff, we literally skip Cyborg's origin story, and like we don't even know him. It's like just like the simplest dialogue of like, oh, you had an accident, your mom had an accident.
He's just there all of a sudden.
Yeah, exactly. And where the Snyder Cut, he's like the heart of the film, right? He has more development over there, and that's good. And even Aquaman, you're like, I mean, you know Aquaman, but like you need to know who's Arthur Curry, and like you don't get enough of that in this movie.
Well, his film had come out before this film came out.
No.
It came out after. Really? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. No shit.
Yeah. It's very funny. Yes, it's after that. That's where
that first Aquaman movie was really good.
December 2018.
Okay. Yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah, it's really fun. I love it. Yeah, so like you barely know half of these people except for Wonder Woman. Like, because you got her movie that came out before this movie. Just like
you got Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And then she was also in Batman v Superman.
Exactly. So you already know her. So overall, is an okay first act. Like it doesn't do what the Snyder Cut did better, where you got to know your characters and all that. It's just they rush it badly, and it's not good. And so it does the thing that the Eternals didn't do well, where you didn't spend time with these characters that you want to care about, and that's the problem with this first act.
Alan says his power went out, so hopefully when his power comes back on, he'll come back on and join us. So basically then, so when we go into the film, right at that point is the actual Star Labs, attack with Steppenwolf trying to get the mother box, right? We kind of glossed over, the Nemaskira, battle with Steppenwolf a little bit, but that did happen. Steppenwolf attacks an Atlantean outpost to retrieve the next mother box, forcing Curry into action. Stone retrieves the last mother box for the group, revealing that his father used it to rebuild Stone's body after an accident almost killed him. Knowing this information, Wayne decides to use the mother box to resurrect Superman, not only to help them fight off Steppenwolf's invasion, but also to restore hope to humanity. So I'll stop there. And I'll go back to you, Andre, as a pop culture guy. What do you think about that section of the film, sir? The Star Labs attack, and then Steppenwolf going to Atlantis to get the mother box, and then them wanting to bring Superman back to life with the mother box.
Pretty good. I mean, it's okay. I thought the Atlantis attack was really fun. It was very well done. I actually, speaking of Aquaman, this is the first time we see Mira, Aquaman's wife and love interest in his films and comics. I thought Amber Heard was way better here than in the solo Aquaman films. I felt like Zack Snyder knew how to direct her better. And I actually prefer her costume here than the solo films. I feel like her Atlantis armor she wears here is pretty cool. It was kind of I know they didn't how you say it, there was a thing where they couldn't talk in the water. You saw how Mirror was forming the bubble, and I know they didn't have his movie yet, so it was kind of weird that they formed they had to talk outside of the water. So, but it's fine. I don't know how they did it in the Snyder version, but I thought that was good. It was fine. Good action scene. The team trying to get Superman resurrected was very flimsy, and I didn't the setup was very questionable in terms is this the right thing to do? Also, how do you know that Motherbox can resurrect him at the first place? Did the Snyder cut did this more better? So which they did, and because they took their time to, what kind of power the Motherbox can do here. So I thought that was kind of weird, how you know that this power thing could bring back Superman. And I thought the battle of
I think it might have something to do with the fact that when Superman died, it activated the mother boxes. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah, that was the thing, which made a lot of sense to use the mother box to resurrect, Superman, right? And where here, they don't do that, right? They thought the mother box can resurrect Superman with the Kryptonian ship. Okay, you can use the Kryptonian ship to resurrect him. That makes sense, because we saw that with Doomsday. But yeah, the Star Labs battle was really great. I actually do like that when every Justice League member was going to fight Superman. That was my favorite part about the film. It was really cool to see Superman moving in the Speed Force when the Flash was doing it. That was really cool. I thought that was really nice.
We're not going that far.
See, this is how much I hate about this movie. I don't like this movie at all. So I thought them going to the Star Labs, getting ready for no please no.
Well, they fight don't they fight Steppenwolf at Star Labs?
No, they
don't fight at that point.
Yeah, so here's the difference. So yes, right, he does fight them in the Star Labs, right, in the Snyder Cut. Here they fight in the theatrical cut, don't they, Cyber? No. Don't they fight at Star Labs? Isn't that their first battle against Steppenwolf?
Yes.
Oh,
There's brief
oh,
battle. It's just not as extended as the center cut is.
oh, you're talking about the tunnel in the water.
Yeah, the tunnel.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay,
yeah.
okay. I'm
That's
sorry.
that's a part of the movie. What we're talking about in the movie.
Yeah. Oh, you
That
meant.
it
Okay,
starts
okay.
off in Star Labs, and then it goes from there.
Yeah, you meant the kidnapped Star Lab scientist people with Stone's father as well. That was good too. I like that part. I mean, especially Cyber comes into the film. I thought it was really cool that he took over the Nightcrawler. I felt like
I
that.
appreciate that. I know I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cyber was in the film.
Yes. Oh yes, he's in the movie.
You literally said Cyber.
Yeah, Cyber. Yeah. I was thinking, it was like, it'd be kind of cool that this movie was so much better with Cyber in it, because he could bring the sharks and the robots together, and we get Cyberneticshark in the Justice League movie.
Cyber could have been an Aquaman character.
Yes, Cyberneticshark and Aquaman, the movie, coming in 2026, folks. Yes, joking aside, I thought the Star Lab tunnel thing, action scene was really great. Every character was showing off their powers, which was really nice. Yeah, I thought this section was okay. It was like, I'm just going through the motions here. The action was well directed, but the story was so fast. It's like you don't get the mother box, or like, and then the resurrection of Superman was like understandable, but then it was kind of weird, like how that it's going to be working for them.
They made Barry into a kind of a pussy in this movie, like he's kind of a pussy, and he kind of sucks. But the thing about it is I actually like this guy, that guy that plays the Flash. I like him. I don't care if he's some kind of weirdo. I guess he's like a pedophile or whatever, or like he's crazy or whatever. I don't know. I know he's done some crazy shit, but I still think he's really good at playing the Flash. I really do. I don't know why, but I really think he's good as the Flash. I saw him at one of those DC events or whatever, and he was dressed all weird and shit. He looked like a fruitcake.
Yeah.
But what do you think, Cyber? What are your thoughts on this section of the film, sir?
So this section of the film, it's just like pretty much the beginning of the film. Once again, it's very incoherent, but it has some highs and lows, as I mentioned with the first section. I think that the fight at Star Labs is pretty decent. I love the Batman machine that Batman brings. I think that thing's pretty cool. I think that looked really awesome and kicked some butt. All the humor from the Flash, I absolutely love. I loved it in the Schneider cut. I loved it in the theatrical cut. I loved his brief moments in, that we got to see him in Batman versus Superman, and then of course in his actual Flash film, I loved him in. I think, and just like Jeff, I'm a huge Ezra Miller fan. I think he's a fantastic actor, even though he might have issues in real life. I think that he is a really amazing actor that can bring to life great characters, and he is fantastic as the Flash. And I think that he did a fantastic job with his little run that he got to play the character. No disrespect to Grant Gustin from the TV show. He was fantastic too as the character, but I think Ezra Miller was just a little bit better in my opinion. I just liked him a little better because he kind of had that sarcastic thing down perfectly for how the Flash was supposed to be. Because the Flash, if you think about it, he's very similar to how those sarcastic characters are. He's supposed to be very similar to Deadpool and Marvel. He's supposed to be similar to even Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern, is supposed to be a little sarcastic. So, I mean, he's that type of character, and Ezra did a good job of playing that, even in this, really around the roundabout type of film, version of the Justice League. But I think that we had some decent moments with Victor Stone's dad here. We had some brief moments with him, played by Joe Morton, who I absolutely love. I think he's a fantastic actor as well. From Blues Brothers 2000 to Executive Decision, Terminator 2. He's just one of those great character actors that's always fun to watch, and I enjoyed him as Victor Stone's dad, and I thought he did a good job of portraying that character very well. And I mean, the battle between Steppenwolf, I think, was decently done. It was it the greatest? No, could have been better. 100%. They made it way better in the Snyder Cut version, but at the same time, I think that it's still in this version, it was still entertaining. And then leading up to kind of your end point there, there's so much that goes on that is just, if you don't understand or haven't seen the Schneider Cut, I think you're going to be pretty confused because there's so much stuff that they cut out that you just don't understand, unfortunately. And I remember watching this first time, I remember several moments going, okay, there's this going on, and this going on, but yet there's no endpoint to any of these, and they're not coming together at all, and yet they're going on with another story. So I remember thinking that, watching the whole theatrical cut, just thinking that, like, I feel like this has no full circle stories at all. And this section of the film gives you quite a bit of those points where it's like they start a storyline but don't finish it. And even getting to our end point, there's definitely a lot of questions people are asking. So what's going to happen? Where are they going from here, and this and that way? So I think like I said, there's some goods, there's some bads that come with it, and then there's some entertaining sections in this portion. That coming with the territory of unfortunately having one director have another director come in, you get what you get. So thankfully, it had some okay moments here, but overall, I think that once again, it was just like the first section, a little incoherent.
Yeah, I thought the initial introduction of Amy Adams in the film, I felt like really wasn't even necessary. You know what I'm saying? When they tucked her in there, and then they had that stupid side story with that kid and the family in the house. That then they get in the truck and all that. They had that side story going on the whole movie. What the fuck was that about?
It's a weird thing. He did that with the first two Avengers films.
That shit is stupid as fuck, man.
I know. It's so weird. Like in the first Avengers movie, I get for the blonde chick in the first Avengers movie because she's the one that first interacted Captain America when he first came out from the ice. But then it was weird in Age of Ultron where we were following this like random couple in that Sokovia. And here it was like so dumb. It was like just him copying the thing he did with the first two Avengers films,
Yes, I do. So, okay. So Clark Kent's body. I'm sorry. Okay, so Clark Kent's body is exhumed and placed in the amniotic fluid of the Genesis chamber in the Kryptonian scout ship, along with the mother box, successfully resurrecting him. However, his memories have not returned, and he attacks the group. So they have their big fight. Batman enacts his contingency plan, Lois Lane. Superman calms down and leaves with her to be his family home in Smallville, where his memories come back. In the turmoil, the last mother box is left unguarded, allowing Steppenwolf to retrieve it. Without Superman to aid them, the five heroes travel to a village in Russia where Steppenwolf's lair is located. So I'll stop there. I'll go back to you, Cyber. What are your thoughts on that section right there, sir?
I think this is the point where it gets kind of interesting. I find it very enjoyable in this sequence. The resurrection of Superman, finally getting Henry Cavill back in the picture was great. This was also another sequence in the theatrical cut where they had to edit out the mustache. So if you didn't notice it is there. But yeah, this section, I think it's interesting when he fights all of them. I think that's really badass. It was really fun. I thought it was really done well. I thought that the action, at least in this section, was pretty cohesive and like made sense for the film, especially when the cops show up and the things start getting blown up and them trying to take him on was just, I think, fantastic because I'm sorry, Superman is pretty much indestructible. And, it's like basically throwing a BB gun at like a 5-inch steel plate. So I mean, it's kind of like that principle, like you're not gonna dent the dude. He's not even gonna be fazed by it. And so I think that them all trying to fight him, I think, is really fun, and I think very entertaining. And of course, at this time, this is when he goes, like you said, he goes back to Smallville, and we have kind of that little bit of a, I would say, filler section there, going back to Smallville for his memories to come back. And, we have the interception of the third mother box that happens in that sequence, which is, pretty decent. Once again, the look of Steppenwolf, I can't say it enough. It looks like a CGI mess. That could have been so much better looking, like in the Schneider cut. And I definitely, looking back at how he looked in this film, and like looking at images and stuff like that of him, and just going, man, that looks so Disney-fied to me. It looks so like, he has like no facial hair. He looks like he's just a Ken doll, basically, how they made him look. And they try to make him look too human, versus which, Steppenwolf was way more something else. He's from another world. He's like a god. He's a creature, basically. And, kind of like Darkseid. And so I think that, the final image we get in Schneider Cut is way more better representation of what Darkseid is. Though in the comics, if you look at the comics, he does look like a human. He looks like a dude with, a helmet and everything and stuff like that. So I think, they kind of try to put a mixture of the two and how he looked. And it just did not mesh well. You should either gone complete human or go complete alien, which they ended up doing with the Schneider Cut. So that's why I think he looks better. But I still, in that fight sequence, you could just tell like the characterization just did not, I feel, threatening at all. It did not like go, ooh, that's a bad guy. It's just like some dude trying to get your box. That's what it looked like to me. It didn't look threatening. It didn't look like he was a super villain. I don't feel it worked well for this theatrical cut. But, leading up to finally when Superman has his memory back and everything, he's ready to start battling and everything is really fantastic. And them basically kind of like getting a group together, getting their group and getting ready to go, find, Steppenwolf's lair in Russia, I think is really fantastic. And the one part I always crack up at, that we didn't mention earlier is that great scene at the beginning when Batman is getting Barry and he goes to his lair and he has to have the pizza and he's like, you're not hungry? It cracks me up every freaking time that scene. It's so on point, like Barry Allen. At the same time, Ezra pulled it off so well, and it just cracks me up because it's such a great little scene that I think really adds some great flash into the film. And I don't think it gets enough credit for how great that little scene is in the film. But yeah, overall, I think that this sequence is pretty decent. It actually adds to the film, I feel. It felt like it was probably one of the least amounts of the sequences that were really edited down, and I definitely think that this is one of the more enjoyable points of the film.
Andres.
Yes, finally, I can talk about the Superman versus Justice League. I think that's the highlight of the film for me. That's where I kind of start liking the film. I thought the way they resurrect Superman was very interesting. I liked how Barry used his power, and when Superman wake up, it was kind of cool because he's kind of like, you don't know he's back yet. Is he like back to normal, or like he's, as Barry jokingly brought up, which this is part I do like about ACER Nitro's humor here is him constantly bringing up Pet Cemetery. I thought that was funny when he say like there's going to be a Pet Cemetery situation, and it's true because he was evil just a moment, and you see every first off, it was very convenient that Cyborg's like arm started to activate and he randomly shoot. That was so convenient. It was like just use Aquaman's heartbeat, the reason that he starts to like attack them or something like that. I don't know. Them attacking Superman was really cool. Very comic book. That's the thing. I really like it. It was very comic book, seeing each hero's abilities to versus him. Like I brought up, before the cutout point, it was really cool to see Superman like doing the slow-mo while Barry was using his super speed, and like he catches Barry, and that was a really cool moment. And seeing him punching the walls while we're doing the slow mo. That was really cool, very nice. I thought that was a really great action scene there, and him versus Wonder Woman was really great. I thought that was a great action scene. And then it just ends really like badly with the team loses the third box by Steppenwolf. Like he just screens like a what is it, like a portal, and then he grabs it. Like that's it. It's like wow. And like the thing about this movie that's so bad is like it's like how lazy that the heroes are not getting the boxes, like the villains getting the boxes so quickly, and it's like wow, like because like at least in the Avengers or like Guardians when they had the like Infinity Stones, honestly the Avengers had the Tesseract, and then like Guardians had the Power Stone, like it was a conflict trying to keep it from the bad guys or like trying to get it from the the rivals. They're trying to they're trying to use it for evil reasons, right? And like there was like stakes. Here it's like we're just like, oh, here we need to stop stepping with with the mother box, and then like everyone gets their butts kicked by Steppenwolf, and like I find mother box here, and and he gets it from Atlantis, and then here he just randomly gets it in the Star of Last. So it was like, oh wow. So he gets all of the 3 boxes. And I don't know if you guys noticed this. This was always a weird thing with this movie with Steppenwolf, this version. Like I know in the Snyder cut, he he warps the mother box because he's trying to fulfill Darkseid's plan of the unity, right? Here, this is where the whole like re-edited everything from the Snyder cut is so weird. He always calls the mother box mother, and it never makes sense. He always calls it mother. He doesn't call it like the mother box. It was so weird. Like I didn't understand what they were trying to do here in this version. But yeah, I think the battle of the Justice League was the best part of this film. I thought it was really great. But yeah, that's all I have to say.
Okay. I appreciate it, sir. Most definitely. So, all right. So where we end up at is, after Superman takes off and leaves to go back to Smallville and all that, we do get the initial attack, which I hated that they handled it that way. And they didn't have Superman join up with them when they actually attacked Steppenwolf's lair in Russia, when the team assembled, right? And they went, for the final battle. They fight their way through the parademons. Just when all hope seems lost, Superman arrives and assists Stone in separating the mother boxes. The team defeats Steppenwolf, who is attacked by his own parademons when they smell his fear. I'll stop there. Andre's a pop culture guy, sir. What do you think about the major, final battle?
It's good. I mean, it's okay. It's typical superhero battle. If you haven't seen the Avengers or X-Men or the Guardians films, this is what you get, and it's pretty average. I mean, first off, the whole like UT, like those like I don't know what you call it, like the transforming the Russia area into like the apocalypse fourth world, like so colorful. It's so weird. Like you could tell, you could see that's like Warner Brothers changing the dark palette that Zack Snyder had, where in the Snyder cut it looks more dark and like a little more like clean. So I thought the whole orange like sky thing was like too much, and but overall, like you see the heroes doing their superhero thing, it's cool. The Batmobile looks really awesome. It's you're doing the tank thing. Oh, another thing we haven't brought up was the music, because this version of the the Whedon cut, he has Danny Elfman scoring the film, and you hear the Superman from John Williams, the Chris Reeve theme, and the old Batman theme from the Tim Burton films. Where in the Snyder cut and pretty much the Snyder films, he works with Hans Zimmer and what's the other composer? Taylor Bates, that's his name, or Junkie XL. Which he was originally called. I know he goes with a different name now. That's weird. Like, I like the music that they have in the Snyder Cut, and it's just weird to hear like the old themes from the Superman Batman thing in this final battle, because it doesn't fit with Henry Cavill's version of Superman and Ben Affleck's Batman. That's weird. Like, they should have just used the Man of Steel soundtrack or the Batman v Superman soundtrack with those characters. Yeah, the final battle is okay. It's typical superhero battle. The way Steppenwolf gets defeated is so lame. Like, as I brought up before, like, he's such a non-threat. It's so, I mean, first of all, he gets his butt kicked by Superman. That's the thing. Yeah, it was very convenient to see Superman, come here and is like, I'm here for truth and justice. And I don't know what he say. I like that as well. And he bam punches Steppenwolf, and then all of a sudden, like the boombox like opens up, and then he gets taken by the parademons, and like that's it. Like, wow, like what a death for this villain, yeah, and then all of a sudden the Russia, land gets all the grass coming out, like that was weird. So yeah, battle was okay. It was enjoyable, but nothing, too much, like nothing to like get excited about. It's just like typical superhero battle thing we've seen before.
Okay, Cyber.
I'm sorry. Where's the end point?
The final battle.
The final battle.
The final battle, sir. When the team takes on Steppenwolf in Russia.
Okay. So yeah, this section, just like Andrea said, it's a very, common kind of like ensemble, superhero type of action sequence. Is it anything special? No. Is it okay in this version? It's okay. It definitely has some entertaining moments that have some decent action. The CGI is not too shabby. But overall, I don't think it's anywhere as good as the final climactic that they do in the Schneider version, the cut. And I think that it's just pretty, ordinary. And I think compared to the other action sequences earlier in the film, this one is nowhere as good as those previous ones, I feel. I definitely think that they wasted the better action sequences earlier in the film versus this one, which was pretty, I felt, anticlimactic for what it's supposed to attain. And once again, going back to how we mentioned how, two different directors, working on the same film and taking in different directions, unfortunately, I think that this final sequence or fight sequence really suffered from that and didn't get how it should have been, how it was supposed to be very deep and moving and, have a lot more meaning to it. Whereas as this version, I feel, which is pretty basic and in the film to be in the film. So, I think that there was so much more they could have done with this sequence and in that final battle. And, I think it was, pretty basic. And as you have mentioned, it sucks that Superman wasn't there, in that fight sequence in Russia. And, I think it would have been a little more successful at them trying to defend things in that sequence if Superman had been there versus him still trying to kind of get to grips again after being dead and then coming back and trying to get his memory. So, once again, too, it was so incoherent too as well, this sequence leading up to this, battle, that so much more was added to make it flow smoother in the Schneider cut that just made it so much more understandable too as well. So, pretty much, a pretty basic, sequence that gets you kind of to where you need to be, but doesn't really pull it in together and give you that great climax it should be.
Okay. And of course, there is more after that. After the battle, Bruce and Diana set up a base of operations for the team. Diana and Arthur resume their heroic duties. Barry acquires a job in Central City's police department. Victor continues to enhance his abilities with his father and Star Labs. Superman resumes his life as a reporter, Clark Kent, and protector of Earth. In a post-credit scene, Lex Luthor has escaped from Arkham Asylum and recruits Slade Wilson to form a league of their own. Cyber, going right back to you, sir. What do you think of that? All that crap that they have there at the end that's kind of stupid.
Well, basically, it's trying to kind of give you an idea of where they were trying to go with the DCU, with these other characters, kind of showing you where they were going and kind of into their solo films eventually. And it was pretty lackluster. There was really nothing that great in those sequences, especially where most of them didn't go anywhere, especially with Cyborg. It didn't really go anywhere with, Wonder Woman, unfortunately, with Wonder Woman 1984, it did not help it. When it comes to Aquaman, like his is probably the closest to anything that was, of similarity. And even the Flash, was kind of like that, but not really that. So, unfortunately, these sequences gave you an idea of like kind of where these characters were going, but they never ended up going that direction with their other solo content. So it really made no sense to have these sequences in this film when they led to nowhere. So yeah, I think they were very unnecessary for the ending of this film. I didn't think they added really anything to the film.
Okay. Andres.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with Cyber. These post-credit scenes, I mean, I like the first one we get with like Flash, like out racing Superman. That's from the comic books. If you're not a DC fan, that's a common thing with Superman and Flash. Like they always like do this fun thing of like who's the fastest man alive, Superman or the Flash. And I thought that post credit scene was okay. The one with Lex, I'm so annoyed. First off, we need to bring out the Snyder Cut version because it's different from that, where the post credit scene of the Snyder Cut, where Lex is telling Deathstroke that Bruce Wayne is Batman, because that was supposed to set up, Ben Affleck's solo Batman movie, which never happened. Here, I don't mind this post credit scene. The idea of like Lex forming the Legion of Doom, the evil like villain team that that's against the Justice League. Like that's fine if this movie did well, which it didn't. The movie bombed. I mean, it did okay, but like it didn't do the Avengers numbers, and so we didn't pay off this post credit scene at all. So a shame. And I don't know, I don't know, of course, I like J.C. Eisenberg as an actor, but his Lex is the worst Lex. I don't know if I could take another movie of him there. So this version of the post credit scene of the Whedon cut, where it's about the the Legion of Doom, I that could have been potentially good for a sequel for Justice League, but we didn't get that. And unfortunately, this movie was the end of the whole, interconnected universe that they were supposed to be doing. But because of, this movie didn't perform well, and then because of Wonder Woman and, next year, the 2018 Aquaman movie, those movies were successful because they didn't interconnect at all with Justice League. It was, they were basically, standalone movies. They were like not, they weren't like interconnected as like certain films. And so they gave Wonderverse the idea like, look, let's not do this shared universe like at this point. Like let's just focus on making these DC films like just solo films and make them good, which unfortunately half of these DCEU films were like okay but bad, or average, or just like okay, and that's really sad. Like, I mean, the sequel for Wonder Woman, very bad. Birds of Prey, I didn't mind Birds of Prey. It was okay. I mean, it just, it wasn't for me. I think it should have had more action. And then, of course, I didn't see Shazam 2. I heard bad things about that. The first Shazam was really good. That was the last good, DC film we have. Well, that and Blue Beetle was really good. Aquaman 2 was okay. It was like, it was fun. I mean, if you like the first movie, it was a fun movie. Aquaman 2 wasn't that bad. I thought it was a okay sequel, but whatever. We reviewed the Flash, the Flash solo film. It was a good film, but it was just bogged down by a lot of the really awful reshoots and the drama that Ezra had. But it's sad that this universe is done. I'm excited for the future. I'm like very excited for the new Superman film. Whatever is going on, with the test screen and all that, I'm very hopeful for the future of DC because I'm a huge DC fan, and I just want these movies to be good.
Yeah, most definitely. Give me a rating on the film, Andres.
5 out of 10. It's not bad. It's okay.
Okay. Cyber rating.
I also give it a 5.
Okay. I will give it a. I'll give it a 5.5. Just to up the ante up a little bit on it. Give it a 5.5. Definitely. The final battle was so much better in the Snyder cut than it was in the theatrical cut. It was so much longer, there was so much more happens in it. Cyber, than what we see in this cut, But unless you guys have any other final thoughts on the film, that's it for me. I've got nothing left to say. I enjoyed doing the review and talking about the movie, and I could probably talk about it for another hour and just bullshit about stuff I liked in the Snyder cut versus stuff I didn't like in this film. But I don't know how entertaining that would really be. So why don't we just plug out of here? I guess we lost Alan earlier. He said his power went out and we lost him. So sorry about that, Alan. I'm sorry we lost you earlier, brother. But Andre's a pop culture guy, sir. I'm going to plug you out.
Awesome. Well, I want to say thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight for the Justice League Weekend Cut 2017 film review. It's great to talk with these two guys, these handsome, gorgeous people, because apparently Cyber likes the words gorgeous and beautiful. So anyway, I've been, just taking my time making the content. After now we're somewhat done with the holidays, so I just put out a Mad Max birthday tribute for Mel Gibson. His birthday was last week, so check that out. I did here's the 28 trailers. The 28 years trailer here is there. I just recently, so speaking of live stream view, watch out for this week. So Wednesday, I haven't set up yet. I'm gonna have my own solo talk on Superman Lois season 4 talk. I want to talk about that show. It just recently wrapped its 4th season last year. It's the end of the Arrowverse, so I'm going to talk about that. But the three amigos, or Jeff in general, are coming back to my channel to do a live stream review of John Carpenter's film In the Mouth of Madness. It's right there. I just set up the page for the live stream. It's right there, so check that out. It's going to be on January 19th on 9:45 p.m. Eastern time, in I don't know Pacific, but it's right there. So the next following Sunday, the 19th is there. Sorry about there's no live stream for this Sunday because something personal, my family had to do, to do. So next, the 19th will be the first of 2025 live stream review, and it's going to be In the Mouth of Madness. Be very excited to talk about this movie with my two hosts here. But yeah, thank you guys for joining me in this review.
All right, and thank you, Andres, the pop culture guy. Cyberneticshark, sir.
All right, so guys, if you enjoy me here on the panel or as a moderator on this wonderful podcast, the MCU'S Bleeding Edge, you can check out my solo content. You can find me under Cyberneticshark. You can find me on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, Patreon, X, pretty much any social media platform. I can see there my most recent review is, of course, for Mufasa the Lion King. If you have not checked out that movie, check out my review there of it. Pretty interesting film, actually. I was actually surprised. I found it entertaining, and I actually enjoyed it better than the Lion King 2019. Then, of course, there, as you can see, I got my Superman trailer reaction there for you folks. If you'd like to check that out, that's there too. My most recent short, of course, is for the film The Mousetrap, which is a horror film that came out last year that used Steamboat Willie to bring to life Killer Mickey Mouse. So if you haven't seen it, it's on Peacock. Check it out. Interesting little mini review there for you guys. And yeah, I'll be having more stuff for you guys, more trailer reactions, more reviews, and keep your eyes up for that stuff because I'll have it coming for you guys. So yeah, check that stuff out.
Okay, good deal. And we will be back on Monday for What If episodes 5 and 6, I believe.
And I'm gonna moderate that. That's
right. And you're gonna moderate it. That's right. And Red's gonna be here, and William from Geek Gauntlet is gonna be here.
Awesome.
Anyways, everybody have a wonderful evening. Please support and the MCU'S Bleeding Edge, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Turn on notifications and all that so you know we're live again and all that good stuff. God bless all of you. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Thanks to Cyber, thanks to Andre, thanks to Alan. Sorry we lost you, Alan. And we'll see you on Monday for What If. And we'll see you next Friday for Fright Night. Woohoo! Fright Night.
Yes.
All right, folks. Peace.